problems like this. We went from some people not believing in astrology to those same people now doubting that astronomy is even a thing. This is the age of the devolution of the conservative mind. Which, when you think about what conservatism is, what it means, well, of course they would devolve. Evolution isn't static, it's a process. And we're kind of always in a mode of becoming human. We don't reach civilized, we strive for it. And we discover new and better ways to be civilized, to be human. Not if you're conservative. If you're conservative, you're conditioned to tradition, and you won't see it any other way. If you're conservative, you aren't open to new ideas or new ways of looking at things. Conservatives, history has shown, reel back when their ways are challenged. And sometimes, more often than not, they even strike. What does conservative mean? Is it a bad thing? Not at all. In a partnership, someone needs to be. Conservatives should be the checks and balances. When we say we want the big house, our conservative partner would say, "Oh, whoa, easy there. We don't need to spend that much." But then the discussion, the negotiation, the compromise comes. This isn't where we are today. Today's conservative idealism is a my way or the highway path. It's a freedom of our religion over freedom of religion. It's fund the wealthy so maybe one day we'll get to be. And I'll blow your head off with my AR-15 if you come in my yard, but shut the government down because libs is killing babies. All life matters, except the one at the end of a white guy's machine gun or cop's knee. Modern American conservatism is the devolution of the intellectual male. And as their culture is constructed, so follows the devolution of the intellectual female, which has always struggled under conservatism. Not to try and simplify this down to gender bias at all, simply to elevate the point that conservatism has no room or want for females, much less intellectual females. Think of a brilliant female Republican. Sandra Day O'Connor. Okay. Give me another one. Please. Yeah. There's always been an element of closed-mindedness to conservatism. Of course. I mean, it's the nature of sticking with what's always been done, just because it's always been done that way. However, conservatism should be listening to the other side, carefully scrutinizing the evidence, and then compromising from the position of not giving up too much ground for the sake of progress. Conservatism for the people should be standing guard, protective of our standards of living, and tempering progress slowly so as to keep from uprisings and whatnot. Today it's all about seizing control, shutting down progress, enforcing a way of life, and putting a price tag on everything for sale to the highest bidder. Today, conservatism is the uprising, but it's always been. When someone says, "I'm a conservative," what are they telling you? Well, based on their platform and the history of that word and ideology in American politics, it means, well, they're telling you that they're not on your side. They're telling you that they are not only un-American, they're anti-American. Now, I'm not into nationalism and all that, but if someone tells you they're a conservative, then they're telling you to your face proudly that they identify most with the side that opposed America from the start. Conservatives didn't want to liberate from England. They wanted to stick with the way things had been done. Conservatives didn't want to be America, much less live up to the standards our forefathers set. Conservatives held out on expansion except when it suited their slavery needs. Conservatives resisted liberating America's enslaved population of people. Conservatives still resist that if you look at our for-profit prison system, ICE, and our southern border. Conservatives pushed for the wars for profit and politics, but when it came down to it, Conservatives opposed the only war we probably needed to get into. When someone says, I'm a conservative, what are they telling you? They're saying to you that their vote matters, but they don't care about yours. They're telling you that they're in favor of supporting voting restrictions, not just now, but throughout history. The Conservative Party has been at the forefront of the laws that have made voting harder on women, minorities, the poor, all of us. Election Day is a national holiday? Conservatives don't want that. Because conservatives don't want you to vote. Unless you vote their way. When someone says, I'm a conservative, what are they telling you? They're telling you that they don't give a flip about your kid's education. I mean, they don't care about their own kid's education. Your kid doesn't even exist once it's out of the womb to them. Conservatives have opposed public education, making college more affordable, more fair student loan laws, PBS, NASA, the national parks, and almost every means of ensuring America's future is a better and brighter one, opposed by conservatives. Historically, being conservative means you only care about education when it's the private Christian school at your church. When somebody tells you, I'm a conservative, what are they telling you? They're politely saying that they think you're beneath them, no matter what you do. You work, and therefore you're garbage, who will never compare to the value billionaires bring our economy. It's okay. There's a lot of self-loathing for them in there too, okay? But they just don't recognize it, so they demonize those not only below their economic class, but those on their own economic class level. They idolize wealth, privilege, and advantage, but with little regard for fairness, equality, equity, or security of anybody else. When somebody says, I'm a conservative, what are they telling you? They're telling you that they value the wealthy over the American working class. Conservatives opposed limiting the work week to 40 hours, weekends off, minimum wage, Medicare, Social Security, 8-hour workdays, unemployment insurance, workers' compensation, labor rights, child labor, slave labor, workplace safety legislation, all opposed by conservatives. What does it really mean to be a conservative? Right to work legislation? Conservatives and conservative policy have been at the foundational core of every collapse of our economic system since Reconstruction. About 8 of them. Every time banking regulations, market regulations, environmental protection regulations, antitrust laws, it's all been opposed by conservatives with little to no compromise. But they'll tell you they support the free market, unless it means small business or the worker who someday hopes to own one. They support the free market, all right, except when it's America's automotive industry, except when banks lose everybody's money. They're all about big business, all right. When someone says, I'm a conservative, what are they telling you? They're looking at you in the eye and saying to you, in other words, you better look like me, believe like me, vote like me, be like me, or else. Every single social movement has been opposed by conservatives. Every single one. Conservatives opposed not only the abolition of slavery, but those freed slaves being considered humans, citizens, getting the right to vote, to drink from the same fountain, to use the same bathroom, to live in the same town, to go to the same school, to work the same jobs, who they could and could not marry without getting murdered. Are you kidding me? When somebody says that they're a conservative, please listen to them. Women. Conservatives opposed every women's rights, every step of the way. No wonder there aren't any exceptional conservative women. Conservatives have made religion harder on everyone but themselves in this country, while absolutely torturing the LGBTQ community over and over, claiming their values, but time and time again, those values are exposed as false and total hypocrisy. When someone says, I'm a conservative, what are they telling you? Plenty, if we'll listen. The Ku Klux Klan was a conservative organization. So was the German National Socialist Party. so is communism. Conservatism is the greatest scam in human history. Demonize the enemy, whomever we decide that is. And we've allowed extremists to exist among us for years because we thought they were harmless. But they've told us who and what they are all along, if we're willing to listen. And now, with their t-shirts blatantly telling us what to do with our feelings, the defense rests, Your Honor. Contrary to how it may seem, I don't really like talking about politics. I loathe talking about politics. Politics is fodder for those who want to feel smart, so they talk about something other than sports or the weather. And I argue I don't talk about politics. I'm not interested in your politics. I'm interested in your humanity. I'm interested in evolution. I'm interested in the deeper story, the bigger psychological picture. When someone tells you something to your face that's alarming, you take notice. When you're discussing Dexter, the TV show, and your friend says they most closely identify with Dexter and how he adheres to this strict moral code, listen to that sociopath tell you that they identify with a serial killer. When someone tells you I'm a conservative, listen to what they're telling you. They're being upfront and honest with you out of the gate. They've always told us who and what they are. We haven't been listening. We haven't been willing to accept what they are. But they've been telling us all along where they stand and who they stand with. It's time to evolve, grow, progress. If it's happening all around you, you're getting left behind. And if it's not, well, then you're leading the way.